Good day, everybody. How are you doing? It's me, Marcus Sydney from Zimbo Music. Today in the studio, we have a very special guest. He goes by the name of M.U.S.E, my brother from another mother. M.U.S.E, please, just come through. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming through. Please take a seat. M.U.S.E, we'll just get right into it. Like I said, I don't think we need to dilly and dally too much. So, just for those out there, just tell us some music. Tell us a bit about M.U.S.E. You know, you're coming up, etc. So that for those fans who don't really know who you are, at least they have a picture and a perspective of who M.U.S.E the artist is.
All right. Well, the name is evident.
Yes.
M.U.S.E. M.U.S.E hip hop artist, Metro Urban Sophisticated Entertainer. It is an acronym. People need not forget that it is an acronym. We started hip hop in 2002.
Okay.
I was probably about like 13, 14 years old. Me and a couple of buddies of mine decided, no, the poetry thing is an eventual rap thing. So I actually took it a step further and I actually pursued it further than what they actually did. So, yeah, man, so I've been in it for quite a while. Coming to Zim for the last, say, 6 years or so. Been 12 times nominated. Got my first award, 2018, the Glam Awards. Shout out to Glam Awards, Zim Hip Hop Awards, the National Zimbabwe Hip Hop Awards. I think nominated about 5 times. In the city here, Bulawayo, been nominated for the Bulawayo Arts Awards, I think 3 times. Skies Metro Awards also, I think, about 3 times. Bunch of nominations, so yeah.
All right. And you grew up predominantly in Zimbabwe?
I grew up predominantly in America. I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
A little town called South Williamsport.
All right.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
about 4 or 5 hours away from Pittsburgh, a couple of hours away from Philadelphia.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And how was it, what led to you, growing up there? Your family relocated?
Yeah, it was a family relocation. My mom got remarried and we all just, uprooted and planted new roots in the States and grew up there.
That's nice. All right. And would you say that your family supports the hip hop movement? I do know, of course, at times you always need a backbone, I think, to a certain extent, so that, that support structure is needed. A lot of artists always say, my family, I'm not too excited about it, or, my family. So in your case, what is that? Does your family support it? Your mom supports it? Siblings?
I think my siblings supported big time. My parents on the other side, parents will be parents.
Yeah, they had different
parents will be parents. They're like, what's this music thing? No, my mom believes in my talent.
Yes.
Let's not get that twisted. And I think it's that way for every artist. Their parents do believe in the talent that their artists' children have, but they also want to see you reap benefits from the talent that you have.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a double-edged sword, you know what I mean? It's like
Catch-22.
It's always a catch-22. She believes in the talent,
but something has to come from something tangible. She
yes.
has to see that, no, these are the benefits, or this is the trajectory. All right, no, that's fine. All right, no, thank you for that. And your schooling predominantly, you did it that side?
I did everything that side.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe that's where the accent came from?
Yeah, that's definitely where the accent
And maybe
came
a
from.
bit of the music bug, would you say?
The music bug, I think, has been with me ever since I was little.
Okay.
I used to listen to vinyls with my mom and on Sundays, and my brother used to play vinyls. And yeah, music bug has always just been my thing. Music has just been in me, so.
That's cool. The music bug is with you. So yes, fine. Maybe you could just tell us a bit of your early influences, people who maybe you either looked up to, or people that when you heard the music, you said, no, I want to be like him, or I want to do what he does, or I want to, turn out like that person. That stands out for you?
I think for me, I wouldn't want to say I want to be like any particular rapper that I like or musician that I used to like. I think for me, it's more they influence my sound and they influence influence the way that I look at music per se. So like the likes of, say, like KISS is a rock band, Nickelback, I would say obviously the hip hop gurus, your Talib Kweli's, your Commons, your Cannabises, your Eminems, your Redmans, your Method Mans, a lot of soul artists like your Tony Robinson, a lot of Motown acts, your Aretha Franklins, your Wolves, your blues, jazz, your Miles Davises, that's kind of where
All of the
where
things, yeah.
that's where my pot is. That's where that's where my swimming pool is. That's where I like to party at. You know what I'm saying? So I listen to a lot of blues. I listen to a lot of jazz, and I listen to a lot of like soul music. So
Oh, that's nice. And then locally, you wouldn't say there was anyone, who inspired you, maybe coming up, any local cats, or maybe you coming up,
I would say performance-wise, yes. Musically, I feel not so much. Not so much. Not taking away from anybody.
Yeah.
Not taking away from anybody because everybody's pretty talented. Your Takuras, your job praisers, your Winky D's. Performance-wise, those I would like to get to a level of a job praiser and a Winky D. Performance-wise, myself personally, I feel like my performances
That's what you want to
are
do.
lacking that
Stage presence,
that
magnitude.
wow. I think that wow factor or that magnitude. Yeah, I think that's a better way to say it. That magnitude.
Like you're operating at that magnitude. All right, no, fine. Well, that's great. And maybe someone that you want to work with, locally, internationally. Is there anyone who
Like in over the last 5 years, man, I've been blessed to work with a lot of great artists. Man, I worked with Calvin. I worked with M.U.S.E. I worked with ASAP. I worked with Psychotech. I've worked with Eco Maximus. I've worked with Ray Lyric. I've worked with a ton of people. Guns of Pharaoh. I've worked with a bunch of people. I would really like to broaden the spectrum a bit. I would like to get away from working. I don't want to say I'm going to stop working with Bulawayo artists, but I would like to work with other artists and see
where that takes you, where does that
I want to see what their work ethic is and how they do their things, because I kind of have a general idea of how Bulawayo artists, when we get in the studio, how we cook up and how we mesh up with ideas and things like that. And the template is always different, but I would like to see how the Harari guys do their thing. You know what I'm saying? When they're in the studio, how they vibe, how they work. I would like to work with Sakura. I really would. I would really like to work with Job Fraser as well. Obviously, your Tammy Moyos, that would be a nice collaboration. I think.
Well, yeah, I said hopefully they're listening, will see the clip, and maybe they'll reach out to
Amara Brown. I think I reached out to Amara Brown not too long ago, but she was kind of hectic. But I would like to do something with her.
I know, that's brilliant. And I'm sure, like I said, eventually, God willing, some of those collaborations will come to fruition and stuff. So fine, maybe you could just take us through the process of writing a song, writing a record. How does it happen in your case? I know some guys say they hear the beat first, then they jot down, or someone's like, no, I already have my verse in my head, or I already have a general idea what I want to say in the head, then I kind of like look for a beat. In your case, how does this work? How do you come up with the track?
For me, it's both.
Okay, it's a bit of both.
It's both. There'll be times where I'll have written down a bunch of lyrics and not really say that it's a song per se, but it's a general idea, it's a general direction, and then a beat will come across it and I'll be able to finish it. And then vice versa, if I hear a beat, the idea always comes.
What is it? 3 albums, 2 albums? How many albums have you put out?
I've got 2 albums,
Okay.
I've got 2 mixtapes, and I've got, I think, 12 or 15 singles. 12, 15 singles. So yeah, my catalog.
Yeah, it seems like you've been working a little bit.
My catalog is a bit
work out.
bulky. It's a bit bulky. It's not where it can be. But for 5-6 years of work, it's a
It's
lot.
not bad. Definitely. It's like work ethic. That's good work ethic, I suppose. And then videos, how many videos you got out?
I've got the Rise and Fall video. I've got the Bad Habit video. I've got the Hypocrites video. And
I know a bunch of performances, of course.
a lot of performance videos. videos. Yeah, I think
We can expect more videos maybe in the coming
definitely.
year.
And the next year, I should be dropping maybe three or four visuals in the next year.
And the album is also dropping next year.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my time with the album, so I'm really not so sure when it's gonna drop. I mean, when it's done, it's done. So right now, I'm in the process of just recording all the ideas down, and then go through, throw away what needs to be, what doesn't need to be there, and keep what needs to be there. So yeah, definitely. I'm excited for that.
And the title of the album?
It's gonna be called The Portrait.
The Portrait.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I did find that quite interesting, the way your albums are titled. Maybe you just want to shed a bit of light.
It's actually a trilogy. So the first one was The Artist. The second one was Pola, The Perspectives of Love, Lust, and Hate, The Canvas. And the next one is going to be The Portrait. So The Artist was me showcasing the versatility between the different styles of hip hop. So we had the boom bap, we had a little bit of the trap, we had a little bit of soul, we had a little bit of everything. The Canvas now was more a specific target area, which was a love album. So now I'm painting, I'm looking at the canvas, I'm now seeing, all right, well, this is what's happened. So I listened to my audience, and predominantly my female fan base was like, we need something from you. So I gave them that specific part. I gave them hope. So the third and final conclusionary album is going to be more of a look at what's been done, and it's going to be a look at perseverance, determination, uplifting not only myself but my listeners and fellow artists or artists on the come up. Okay. So that's going to be the push towards that.
All right. Interesting. It's not your last album. Well, it depends.
It might be.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Because you artists always say one thing, and
but it's going to be a conclusion to the trilogy.
Yes,
to the trilogy.
That of course makes sense, and that's quite interesting. I don't think a lot of people knew that about you. That basically, even the way the albums are titled and the transition through them, that it's not just you waking up and saying, I'm going to call it this. It's kind of like you thought it through. There's a thought process, and even like you said, you going to the studio, you know that okay, this album is predominantly for the ladies. This one, I'm taking people through the different stages of hip hop and the different, eras of hip hop. So no, that's dope. I mean, kudos to you. Thank you at least for definitely clarifying that. Here's a more personal question: are you in a relationship?
I'm dating. I am dating.
Okay. Special somebody out there.
There's somebody out there. I mean, hopefully it'll turn into something solid. But for now we're just feeling out. Feeling each other out. We'll see what happens.
Keeping the steez, checking out the situation, reading the signals. No, it's all right. That's cool. At least I'm sure some people would watch now, so we do have to put it out there.
That's fine.
Let them know that she can bring a CV. She thinks she's got it.
She thinks she's
at the
capable.
moment you're a bit committed. No, kudos. That's good to you. Kudos to you. Fine. What would you say is the state of? People always say Zim hip hop. I don't really like that term because I believe hip hop is hip hop.
That would be where I would kind of start. That way we could obviously have a comparison or something to pit ourselves against. Because obviously when there's like an official real stable or real label, because you can't pop up and be like, all right, well, I've got a label just because I got a studio. No.
Yeah,
it's more than that. Fine. Your studio is there. That's fine. You're recording, you're releasing, but it's not a label. A record label has so much power behind it because a record label isn't just the studio. The record label is the lawyer, the A&R, the distribution team, the marketing team, the publishing team. You know what I'm saying? Stylists. So many things to it. So I mean, if we really say that we want to mirror a hip hop business mogul, then we should start off with a proper hip hop label that will then say, all right, this is the criteria.
That we're looking for.
This is what we need from you. These are the artists that we have chosen because they are mirroring the international standard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about just like flow or whatever. I'm not talking about the work. I'm not talking about what happens in the studio. I'm talking about beyond the studio. Because everything that we see when it comes on a Trace and Wall and all of those platforms is beyond the studio.
Much more work behind it.
You know what I'm saying? So then you get this conflict where it's like, oh, it's a mumble rapper, hey, he's trash, whoa. But that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like I said it, I'm gonna be saying it in the album, you know what I'm saying? Real labels don't give a damn if you've got the talent.
As long as they can sell the product.
They look at your manager and they say, fine, your manager has his team. And the management team is probably going to consist of a publicist and a marketing person, and you know what I'm saying? And when you've got those 4 or 5 people around you, making sure that you are visible, whether it's in the region or in the city or whatever the case may be, then you can start saying, all right, well, that is an artist now, because now you become an official brand.
No, sounds good. And it makes sense. I mean, I'll also just throw in my 2 cents on that. I just think we need, like you're saying, a certain framework or a certain structure.
Yes.
I don't think we have it. There has to be a structure. Yes, the corporates need to come on board. Probably like the government needs to come on board. The ministry needs to come on board. I won't dispute that. But we need a framework. We need a certain structure. We just can't be recording and putting our music out through WhatsApp and other stuff. That's just not working. And then there's other sensitive issues. Like I think at times there's an aspect of relevance. You know, I mean, I can't be talking about I bought a race, a flying spur, I just flew to Cali. I mean, we can't do that. People can't relate to that. I can't relate to that. You know, if you look at the Zim dancehall, I always use it because, like I said, the Zim dancehall, I wouldn't say that it's a genre that came overnight, but they've almost built it now, and guys are going to Australia, guys are going to Canada, guys are going to South Africa, because one is the relevant aspect. They speak about what's happening in the ghetto, people can relate to it. And two is the numbers. We've always spoken about the numbers, that Zim hip hop has to have the numbers. You can't have a small movement of 10 people and it's a movement. A movement has to have the numbers. So people have to support the genre. People have to come out, you know. I mean, you look at Sungura, the numbers come out. You know, you look at all these other things. At some point, even Urban Cruise, the numbers were there. That's why it blew up and grew what it was. So it's the same with Zim hip hop, that people need to come on board. That's good. That always helps us. Thank you. I mean, thank you for that. At least, like I said, we've got a bit of clarity on what you think needs to be done with regards to this genre called Zim hip hop and stuff. Would you say that there are any standout artists locally that you feel that so and so has, or maybe has? Because I know that I just look at it this way, that there are some, of course, who are talented. Then there are others who just make up the numbers. In anything. I think there's a lot of that happening. I think there's a lot of that happening. People just making up the numbers. I think the reason why there aren't really that many breakout artists is because I think Zim hip hop is still trying to find its sound. Yes, someone did once say that. I heard the sound story. Yeah, because it's all over the place. There's no distinctive. No one can say, all right, this is what it sounds like. You got your boom bap or you got your trap. It's just like mixed bag of whatever. It's a mixed bag of whatever, because now you have an artist will start off as a boom bap artist or whatever, or he'll start off as a trap artist, and because of the pressures of music, people, and I'm not going to say the industry, but I'm going to say the pressures of music and what's popular, because everybody just looks to South Africa and looks at AKA or Casper the Best and like, all right, that's what he's doing, so that's what's selling, and let me do that. So I mean, we fall
Zim hip hop starts falling between the cracks because we're not sticking to a particular sound. I think that's the first thing we need to do is find our sound.
Yes.
So in terms of like artists that are breaking out, I mean, take Takura for example. I mean, he's the guy who's doing the most right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He started off as a hip hop artist. He is now a Afro trap artist. That's what I think. That's what you call it, Afro trap or alternative, something like that. I was listening to an interview like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he raps and he sings and but apparently he's like a singer, but
He kind of like migrated just to, yeah.
So, but he's doing what's selling for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you?
But now you got ASAP. He's found his sound. He's doing the Kasi sound.
Yeah.
Like he's balancing the
Yes.
two, hip hop and the Kasi vibe, which is lovely. And you've got me. I have to throw my name in the hat. I'm trying to be a more boom bap delivery over I would say R&B. I don't want to call it trap. I listen to like a lot of her and Gina Aiko and stuff like that. That's kind
of like where you at.
That's where I'm migrating to. I mean, it's not trap, but the similarities are so close. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. But I'm still a boom bap rapper. Like on the album, I'm producing two boom bap tracks. So like I'm mixing it between the two. So I'm going back to like my roots on the album. So I mean, I would say M.U.S.E, also another standout artist. But I view him as an alternative artist because he's more on the singing side of things. He's more vocalist, so, but still, he breaks out. Obviously, Luxury is 07, but he's obviously alternative Afro pop.
Correct,
But this is what I'm saying. There aren't many artists that we can say are hip hop artists. Calvin, he's doing the same thing. He's now moving to Afro and he's jazz and. Okay, is he experimenting? Is he saying that this is going to be his lane? I'm not taking anything away from it because it sounds great. It sounds good, and he's doing the most with it. Excuse me, Jay Doomza.
Yes. I got that bad news. All right, no, fine. Thank you. Thank you for clarity on that. I think, like I said, I do think it's definitely something that we need to talk about. And congratulations on the Grand Prime or Prime Gladiator.
Yes. Out here battle rapping.
Yeah, battle rap. Well, like I say to a lot of cats, it's part of the industry. I mean, I know they say music is very, competitive, the king. But you see, you can't be a king if you haven't slaughtered a couple of bugs or deers here and there. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I know guys always get up in their feelings, but to me, the industry is really show and tell. If you say you're the best and maybe you battle 10 guys and you beat them, yeah, I mean, you can wear that crown, but you can't say you're the best and you're just a studio rapper, you're a bedroom rapper. You've never tested your skills or pitted your skills against anyone else. And I believe it's harmless fun, but you never know. I guess some cats catch feelings.
Yeah, a lot of guys catch feelings.
But I thought it's harmless fun. It's sharpening your blade. You have to sharpen your blade. You can't be a hunter and you've got a blunt blade. I mean, so I don't get that. I don't get that. But yeah, I mean, kudos to you. Battling 5 MCs and going on to beat another Prime Gladiator isn't easy. And putting in the work, I can believe it's sleepless nights of writing and researching and finding out what you can say about your opponent and stuff. And yeah, I mean, congrats. Let's see where that leads to. Like I said,
but I think the judgment is kind of funny though.
Okay. Yeah, no. You can speak on it.
On Rizla's side, I think it was kind of funny though. I don't know what he means by theatrics. I think with I think in terms of like the theatrical side of things, the beat has to give you the room to do so. It's like even like when you do like when you do the battles like live,
Yeah.
a cappella, you can do what you want. You got the room.
Yes.
You got the room. But not when the beat constricts you to just a particular flow or a particular pocket. I mean, you
Can't do much.
can't
Not a
really
lot
do
of room
much.
to maneuver. Correct.
Exactly. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but I mean, at the end of the day, I feel
And besides, like what you're saying, I don't think that theatrics really
It shouldn't-
matter.
it should
At the
be
end of the
what
day,
you.
it's-
It should be how you saying what
to
you're
me, it's a
saying.
matter
you know
of
what I'm saying?
exactly. It's what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. You know, we don't need any little sounds or any little extras
No.
or any voice pitches or anything. That's different. You
Because
know?
like I was half tempted to just send him a blank acapella. I was really half tempted to just send him an acapella. That's really what I really wanted to do. That was what I wanted to do. And then just be like, yeah, there you go. And then I was gonna be theatrical on an acapella because I mean there's no border, you know what I'm saying? Some of these things you gotta paint within the lines, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
that's what I feel like.
the other judge did say that he felt, actually, not just the theatrics, but Peter O was like, he felt Donald's all over the place. He didn't really do the beat. It's like he was almost rapping off beat, kind of like, that's how I kind of like understood it, and true. So yeah,
I mean, I don't take anything away from Donnie. I mean, the bars were nice, but like, I feel he was doing a little bit too much for the beat.
yeah.
For the beat. Had it been like a quicker beat or something something to that effect, or a more aggressive beat,
Yeah.
yes, then that's when you gotta go in and have a lot more fun on it and do a couple of extra things to make sure. But I mean, also with the battle rap, I feel, man, how do you battle rap on a beat?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true.
Like I think that only came about with the disses, and that was just only recently that it was like, all right, this person's gonna diss me, so I'm gonna write a song and I'm gonna diss them back. I mean, that just became popular now. But I mean, battle rap used to be like, hey, I'll meet you here, let's do what we gotta
There's
do.
no beat, it's all acapella, it's all saying whatever you need to say.
Yeah,
people hear it,
but I like that. But I like the movement, and I love that.
bit of clarity, at least people kind of like know who M.U.S.E the artist is, like you said, it is an acronym. It's not M.U.S E, because I know that there's another M.U.S E, is it a rock band or something?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
So there could always be a bit of a,
That's why.
a bit of that confusion.
That's why actually, I actually ran with M.U.S E the artist, because everybody, when I dropped my first album, it was like, M.U.S E the artist. No, I am M.U.S E, and the album is called The Artist. But everybody's like, hey, M.U.S E the artist. So
It kind of stuck.
It stuck, so
Yeah.
I like it.
And how did you come up with the name M.U.S.E? I mean, the Metro Urban Service is getting to quite clever.
Metro,
Quite clever.
I'm not from the ghetto. Urban, well, at times I can get a little ghetto. Sophisticated, well, I'm educated, entertainer. Come on now, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so no, I mean, it's quite creative.
It's
quite creative the way you came up with that. So yeah, no, I mean, that's nice. Normally when people come on the show, we always ask them to bless the mic. I always think it's only fair that we show and tell. Like I've been saying throughout this entire interview, that show people your, maybe for people who've never attended any of your shows, maybe haven't heard some of your music. Hopefully you blessing the mic will at least, get you some new fans, and also, show your skills. I always feel like, we gotta stay ready,
Gotta be cocked at all times.
Yeah, I mean, as a hip hop artist, it's just here, like I said, you don't really bump into any heavyweights, but if you're in the States or whatever else, you can bump into a heavyweight and you got your 2 minutes to do your elevator pitch, and then you start choking, and then you lose your opportunity. So
Yeah,
we're hoping that you could just bless the mic real quick. Then maybe after that we can get to some shout outs, final messages.
Sure.
Just pick it up from there. So yeah, I mean, whenever you're ready.
Alright, cool.
Whenever you're ready, man, you can just do it.
Then acapella, so it's fun. Alright, I'm a go-getter. Confident in these jungles like a gorilla. Nobody gorilla. Many figured like they were being overserved by bartenders. I'm trying to terrorize these cities like Godzilla. I'm not an overly Christian, but I'm a God-fearer. Meaning no man alive scare him. Word to the wise, your disguise is blown. So when you come near, better keep it and keep it real simple. I'm real tired of being sold dreams. Yeah, that's basically.
All right, no, thanks. I like it, real. I mean, you can realize it. I love that. I'm not God-fearing, but I'm a real nice guy.
Yeah,
So,
real nice.
thank you for that. I mean, like I said, we always have to show and tell.
Yeah.
You know, I wish you much success.
Thank you for that.
Like I said, I really hope this thing that we call music, this thing called hip-hop, that it works out for you. I think, you know, it would be a great success story. I don't think there are enough success stories.
Yeah.
Of guys making it. So, you know, at the end of the day, it kind of like discourages all of us. And, you know, like I said, even hopefully your family will come on board when you buy your first car, you buy your first house, or you're flying out to Europe, or, you know, I mean, all of that, you know.
True.
That would be great. I mean, that would be like a really good success story. And, you know, Zimbabwe needs that at this particular moment in time where if we say so-and-so made it or so-and-so can make it, then why not me? You know, I mean, our children need heroes. We need inspiration.
True.
Yeah, like I said, you've been putting in the work, and hopefully, I do hope it all comes together at some point, and that, you know, none of it is in vain. You know, we're not getting any younger. You know, and I always feel, like I said, from a personal perspective, I think the first album to me is the one that kind of like made me sit up, you know, and say, this is not an average spitter, this is not an average artist, this is not an average guy putting those words together, you know. And yeah, the first album kind of like, and I've been a fan since then. And yeah, that's why, I mean, the first album to me, I consider it to be like your 5 mic classic. I just think that it was dope on almost every level. There's a pity it got slept on, but anyway.
That's what it is, man. It is what it is, man.
It's a pity people slept on it, you know. So if you're listening, you should probably look up that first album.
Yeah.
That might change your perspective on many things. But yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully, like I said, next year or the coming year will be a good year for you with the dropping of the new album, a couple more visuals and stuff. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, all the best, you know. So maybe we just give us some shout outs, give us your handles, where people can find you, where they can find the music, where they can reach out to you, if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm very, very active on social media. You can get me on @M.U.S.E the artist across all social media handles. That's M.U.S.E the artist. Thank you for having me on the show. Shout out to Zimbo Music.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the fans. Shout out to everybody that listens. Shout out to everybody that knows my music and sings when they hear me and when they see me perform. Yeah, man, that's very important. Shout out to Thor the Rock the Monster for pushing the culture. Shout out to all the artists that are my colleagues and my competition. You know, shout out to you guys. You're definitely making me, you know, step up my game. And I'm hoping I'm doing the same to you. And I hope to collaborate with many more artists, regionally, internationally, and locally. Yeah, so keep the grind up. Everybody that's working and not seeing what they think they're supposed to be seeing, you will see it. That's how it is in the beginning, man. It's not always an instant gratification thing. You will get there. It's gonna take your time. Take your time, you'll get there. Just have some hope, guy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. You take it, my man. All the best. Nice one, man.
Nice one.
All right, cheers. All right, cheers.
Nice.